First time in here?
First time in this room, yeah. It's a lovely room, isn't it?
Seven's away.
Last statement, there are only 22 senior players available and without a coach. Has that got any worse in the last hour or so?
Yeah, we're probably down to 20, and Simo. So obviously the most recent is Simo, who I've spoke to a number of times this morning, and Greg Clark, who won't be with us this weekend. The other information around the health and safety protocols, everyone would know that in the room up until this point anyway. But yeah, so we'll have a look at that over the next couple of hours. Obviously we're travelling at 1, so logistically we're getting organised just to get the team ready and just to put our best foot forward on Saturday evening.
Just a case of crossing your fingers and hoping nothing gets worse from here?
Yeah, well, we by normal protocols we PCR'd yesterday afternoon, as we have done for all our travel games this year. So gone through that process. I'm not as across that process as some people in the club, but you know, we PCR'd yesterday, endeavoured to get as many players and staff, you know, negative, so we could just focus on football, which we're keen to do. So yeah, so it's all take its course in the next sort of 24 hours, but we'll have a travelling crew of 26 players, so that's really positive, and then we'll have a captain's run in Brisbane tomorrow, so make our final decisions on the team then.
Procedurally, when you're trying to ring Waffle players, are you ringing them this morning saying can you play, or you're ringing them last night? Like how late are they finding out that they need to be at the club to get on a plane because you actually need them this time?
Yeah, I think it's just case by case, and depending on the players on the West Coast list. But what I would say is, you know, the Waffle clubs and the players have been absolutely outstanding with their patience, their willingness to work with us. Understand it's a big round of games and the state game coming up, so we've been very fortunate. We've had great support from the Waffle clubs and the players. So it's been a lot of patience required, having to navigate through different issues, but. You know, we've got 4 Waffle guys travelling with us. I think at least 2 of them will play in the 22. So we'll make those final decisions in Brisbane tomorrow. But again, very thankful that the Waffle clubs will work with us, and to be able to put 22 healthy, fit guys out there tomorrow, Saturday night's imperative.
So you're taking 26. Do you have real concerns that blokes could test positive between now and then, after getting on a plane together and moving around, and then you got real issues?
I'd rather you not ask that question, but as in the sense that, fingers crossed, no. But that's why we're taking 26, that, we have to have backups, and we have to understand that, if something does arise, whether it be injury or health and safety, that we've got 26 there available. So again, we'll have our captains run in Brisbane, and we'll make decisions based on that.
Who are the 4 Waffle guys travelling?
So we've got Declan Mountford, who'll be travelling. Jake Florenka, Schumacher's, and the 4th one will be Logan Young, yeah, off our Waffle Eagles list. So Logan will be travelling as well. Logan's travelled a couple of times. The last time was North Melbourne, so he's a fine young man, and all 4 boys, lads, have been terrific with their attitude. I can still remember before the North Melbourne game, around at Simo's house, meeting the 4 or 5 guys that played in that game for the West Coast Eagles versus North Melbourne, and their attitudes were superb, and they played accordingly. So I'm sure the guys that are going to travel, they want to play AFL football. For some of them, they've dreamed of it for a long time, and it's really exciting for them to be a part of it. So as I said, at least 2 of those Waffle players that I mentioned will be playing in the 22 Saturday evening.
You've done this before, obviously from a coaching perspective. What's it like to be back in the actual hot seat?
Yeah, different circumstances in a sense that, Simo rang me this morning about 6:10. I was on the way down to the water to have a walk and a swim, and he said, I'm out, I've got COVID, I've tested positive. So, yeah, we spoke 3 or 4 times this morning just to get some awareness around what our team looks like and our process the next 24, 48 hours. That's not new though. It's not something that the club spoke to me 4 to 6 weeks ago, and Simo spoke to me and Bally spoke to me and said if the coach does test positive at any stage, that I would be taking this role as head coach for a game. So we're just going to do our very best to play better football Saturday night, have some little wins. We've trained really well on the track yesterday. I thought it was one of our better sessions for the last month. So we're positive. We're really looking forward to the contest. I've eyed Brisbane. Watched the game live last week. They were outstanding versus Sydney. Thought their contested football and their forward half football was pretty elite. So yeah, we're looking forward to the challenge and really positive about the group of players that'll be playing.
With the travelling party of 26, are you saying potentially there's a couple of guys there who might not 100% be ready to play a full game?
Not really. I think all the 26 we're taking will be able to play a full game if required. So we probably wouldn't include them in the travelling party if that wasn't the case. So yeah, the 26 that do go will be healthy and fit to play a full game.
How many players are actually in the protocols at the moment?
I think there might be eight in the health and safety protocols at the moment.
And that's just players, and then there's staff on top of that?
Staff on top of, yes.
Okay. How many staff are there?
Not exactly sure on that one. I'm not completely across that one.
Yeah.
So,
can you talk us through the challenge of you're trying to embed a new game plan, and with injuries and COVID just ruling out so many players, how much of a challenge has that been this year?
I'll be up front. It has been a challenge when you're trying to indoctrinate a new game style and tweaks of your game style through your playing list when there's limited continuity from week to week. So that has been a challenge, but it's not that the coaching group aren't up for it. A very united coaching group. Simo's led the coaching group and the staff and the players unbelievably well through difficult times. And everyone's united, everyone's pushing forward, everyone's all in. And it's we're going to chip away, take small wins with our game style, and obviously look to play better than we have in the last couple of weeks because we haven't played at the level. So we're excited about getting an opportunity to turn that around against Brisbane.
And how's Simo been handling, I guess, the intense scrutiny, and there's even people saying perhaps you should step away and things like that?
Yeah, unbelievable. Just positive. At every meeting, pushing coaches, players to be better. Been listening. He's been doing all the things that a head coach does through adversity. So I've only been here for 3 or 4 months, but the way he's handled himself has been nothing short of sensational. He's been great to myself and Scully, who are new, and our family. So 10 out of 10 from my point of view.
Given you were similarly decimated before round 2 against North Melbourne, what have you learnt from that experience that you can take into this week? Yeah,
it's a good question. In the sense that because it's going to be a very new team playing together, you got to settle the boys down in their roles, allow them to feel functional and good with each other and the guys they're playing next to. And then instincts have to come in. We can't be too regimented in this game. We've got to be allowed players to make good decisions based on what they're seeing and, feel good about who they're playing next to. And I think if you do that, you give the chance for the players to play well as a team and as individually. So it's just a matter of settling the game plan, settling the style and allowing to get out and play. And that's what we did against North. That's what we did against Collingwood. We haven't been able to ascertain that in the last couple of weeks, so we want to get back to that and get our pressure rating up. Early in the season, we were a little bit underdone, but our pressure rating was there. We were at the opposition and we were giving ourselves a chance to win football games. The last 2 weeks, we haven't been able to do that, so we want to get back to giving ourselves a chance to be in the games.
How's Tom Rouse pulled up during the weekend? Will he be one of the 26 players travelling today?
Yeah, no, Tom will be playing. Yes, he's. We just erred on the side of caution last week with Tom. He's been in such mint form with McGovern, so he'll be back playing in the 22. Great to have him back. A mighty player, cut off marks, setting our sort of game style up. So yeah, he'll be back in the 22 for sure.
And how about Willie Rioli as well? Brady Hoff as well?
No, Willie's out with a hamstring. We'll investigate that further, and the medical staff will investigate that further in the coming week. But he'll be out with a hamstring. Brady Hoff's just got a slight back injury at the moment. Was showing a lot as a young player. We really like what we see with Brady. Just his courage over ground balls, the way he gets through the game with his dash. So we like what we see. We just got to get him healthy. And the same with Greg Clark. I really like what I saw with Clarkey last week. He's won some nice contested balls for us. Showed some good stuff in the air. So it's just disappointing that he can't. Being in health and safety, you can't back up and play his second game of AFL. Thought he showed some real promise last week.
We talk about integrity in the game. Should this game be going ahead?
Yeah, I think it should be. The AFL have stated that that's the way they would go right from the beginning. And we've just got to deal with it as a club and be positive about playing football. And 22 young men, 23 young men get the chance to play AFL and show what they've got. And I love that as a coach, that they've got the opportunity to play. So, yeah, it's different circumstances and quite unique. I've never seen anything like this, but we're good to go.
It's a vastly different top-up situation to the first time where only one of them had never played AFL before. A lot of these guys you've named before have never had the opportunity to play, so they're going to be a different feeling of emotion. Like, how do you handle, they're going with different sort of nerves as well, how do you handle their introduction into the team?
Yeah, I think what we do is the club has a fantastic way of sort of inducting people into the organisation, and the guys that played against North felt part of the team, so we've got to do that again as a playing group and as a coaching group. Give them a chance to play roles that they're suitable with, and not play them out of position is also a factor. So, yeah, we feel we'll do a good job of that. And, you know, for example, young Mountford come in and played last game. He played on Jai Simpkin, played to his strengths, and I thought he did a good job for us. So, yeah, we'll endeavour to do the same thing, play them in nice roles that suit them.
How do you instill the belief into this team after losing by so much last week and then being further weakened? How do you make people believe that it's possible to perform well?
Oh, well, I think if you watch sport all over the world and you watch the AFL on a consistent basis, you can see teams can change their form lines from week to week. So, you know, we've got to endeavour to get that pressure back in our game. Lions are amazing at contested football, so we've got to certainly match them and endeavour to beat them in that area with their sort of fully fledged midfield. So, you know, we just need to get our midfield, giving our forwards a bit more supply and get the ball up in our half a little bit more. So just give them their belief that they can play at the level and play top football. And that's what we're doing to do, is just give the players as much confidence as possible in the next 24, 48 hours.
Simo have a role on game day? Will Simo have a role on game day? Would you Skype him in for a game run up or something?
Yeah, no, it's unsure of that at this stage. The only thing I've done with Simo, I've had 2 or 3 discussions just about the team with him this morning and the process of the next 48 hours. So I think that's something we'll cover in the next sort of period of time. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that.
You spoke about integrity and this game, whether or not it should go ahead. Is there a tipping point? I mean, you guys have got 20 available players, the head coach is out. Is there a tipping point? Is it that a game shouldn't go ahead at?
I'm not sure there is. I'm not sure the AFL in their, I suppose, preparations for the season with COVID have got a tipping point. If they do, I'm certainly not aware of it. So, as I said, I can't think about that too much other than getting the 23 players and the staff ready to play good football Saturday night and to all contribute. And I've got no doubt I'll be leaning on, you know, Praddy and Luke Webster and Jared Schofield, Kyle Horsley to, you know, do it as a united coaching group, as well as all the staff that are going to be preparing the team off field. So it's going to be a group effort.
Just on the personnel, has Luke Shuey had a setback with his hamstring?
Yes, he has. Luke, unfortunately, has been really finding his legs, and I thought, when I say finding his legs, he's been running. His last 2 games, he's ran much better once the ball's moved in transition. Unfortunately, Luke's got a awareness in his hamstring, and he won't be playing and making the trip.
How bad to that? Is it a few weeks?
No, it's just an awareness at this stage. We'll get further scans early next week, but I guess with Luke's history and being such a pivotal and important player to us moving forward for the rest of the year, just any type of awareness is enough for us to I guess, again, err on the side of caution. So it's unfortunate because he's so up for playing at the moment and leading this club, but he just won't make it to the line this one.
And Jack Petruccelli, has he also had an injury?
Yeah, Petch hurt his hamstring yesterday in training, and again, we'll get further scans on that. So that was only as of yesterday. And it's unfortunate for Petch because he's come out of health and safety in the last sort of couple of weeks as well. So he was looking forward to his role, but he won't be there either.
Do you have a ruckman?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So we'll decide in the next 24 hours on Luke Stranatica, Dixon. We've got Cal Jamison there, and also Harry Edwards. So we've got 4 guys that could potentially play in the ruck. So I guess 2 out of those 4 will share the duties.
Do you think the amount of time that the players have spent in protocols has contributed to the amount of injury, setbacks and soft tissues that you're seeing from players trying to come back when they're maybe a bit underdone, but you don't have the option of not playing?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the link there, and it's hard for me to ascertain because it's not my area. So What I do know is every player coming out of health and safety is different in regards to how they come out, how their 8 or 9 days has been with COVID. So it's very much case by case, and then endeavouring to get them on the training track, training again to feel good about themselves so they can play AFL. So yeah, every case has been different, and to answer your question, my knowledge of relating that to injury is very limited.
It's 5 weeks, I think, since the North Melbourne game. So COVID's been destroying you for a fair amount of time now. Has enough been done within the club to make sure that players are separated and less likely to pass it on to each other?
Extensive vigilance on the club's behalf, just daily. Testing, education, knowledge, support has been there. And I'm new to the club, and it's been, the process has been first class. So, it's just unfortunate that, we've had players contract and then go into health and safety, and, it's happening around the league everywhere. I think, I only read this morning that Fremantle may have 6 this week, 5 or 6 this week. So it hits different clubs at different times. And speaking to the club I was with for a long time, in 10 years in Geelong, and they had it a lot earlier than us. Sort of November, December, they had half their list, or a lot of their lists that were sort of struggling and so forth. So it just hit different clubs at different times. But the vigilance has been there. Yep.
Does it change your planning in terms of how you train the squad? And, do you look to hit your stride sort of heading into the back half of the season, given that hopefully most players will have had it by then?
Yeah, we'd like to think. I think it's close to maybe only 5 or 6 players on our list haven't had COVID up until this point. So we're, it's nearly gone through in the entire playing group up to this point. But yeah, we'd like to think, can't think too far ahead in regards to the second half of the year. As a head coach, we just got to play better Saturday evening and play at a higher level. That's so important for this group. So I'm a big believer in no matter what 22 or 23 steps out, we're going to play hard for the club and endeavour to stay in the game and endeavour to go there and win the game. Unless you're going there to win a game of football, it's pointless getting on the plane. So we're going to win and to play hard. And you've got to give the players have got to have that belief as well. And that's part of myself and the coaching staff's role, is to instill belief in the group from week to week, as well as the game style and the strategy and how to go about it.
Did the club dial up training through the week in response to last weekend's loss?
No, not dialed up, but we did have as I said, I thought we had an outstanding session yesterday, our main session, whether it was from a contested point of view, a strategy point of view, or just the intent and the communication of the players and the energy. It was a very good session, and that was really positive for us. So, had a great session. Not dialed up any more than any previous week, no.
How are you feeling personally about this challenge?
I'm pretty excited, yeah. As I said, I've had some great conversations with Simo this morning. In only my short time here, I've been lucky enough to create some great bonds and friendships with both the staff, but also the bonds, and that player-coach relationship with the players is strong. So I'm really loving my time here, and I'm looking forward to coaching on Saturday nights. Pretty excited, to be honest.
Would you jump back in as a head coach again? If you get offered?
That's a good question, considering Simo got me at 6:10 this morning and said, you're coaching this week. But I've always said that, I'm always open, but it's got to be at the right club. And, the experience of coaching Essendon, the first 2 years were outstanding, and third year was tough. But what I do know is you've got to, wherever you're coaching, you've got to have a strong environment and a strong club. And I don't think about it very often, to be honest. I just enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy my coaching, and at the moment I'm just loving being here at the West Coast and supporting Simo on our journey.
Just one other, just from our perspective, you said at the start you had 20 players available plus 4 Waffle, which meant 26. We're probably going to need you to. That adds up to 24. So from a quote perspective, you said we've got 20 available and we'll have 4 Waffle blokes and we'll take 26. So we just get you to rephrase that so that it all adds up correctly when we quote you.
So we're travelling with 26. But my understanding, we have 20 West Coast Eagle listed players available. maybe 21, and then yeah, we've got to make decisions because we've got a few guys that obviously we've got to see in the captain's run as well. So yeah, I guess the main thing is we'll be travelling 26, and then we'll make our decisions there.
Similar or good? Is he Cook or?
He was a bit raspy yesterday afternoon. He had a full day here yesterday, and we had a meeting that went till about 4:30, and he was part of that. And he was fine. He was just a bit raspy in the throat, and but we thought he'd be okay. But he's doing fine. Yeah, I spoke to him a couple of times this morning, and he's doing well. He's chatting about footy. We had a couple of conversations that went for at least a half an hour each. So we're still talking footy.